Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Good day to Wong and fellow panelists. My name is Alvin, team leader.
Hey, my name is Hari, Team Software ThinkSpeak developer.
Hi guys, my name is Yick and I'm the team hardware developer.
Hi everyone, my name is Galway and I'm the team Blink software developer.
And we represent Group K. Our integrated design project is titled Wemos Weather Station, short for WWS.
WWS is a smart weather detection system that notifies its user on localized weather patterns. And this information can be accessible anywhere in the world as long as there is a secure internet connection.
We propose the WWS as a response to a couple of reasons. Firstly, on a personal level, weather news broadcasting are often regional and are not specific to particular areas within the city. For example, in Miri, the weather in Kertih, Malaysia is not always the same as the weather at Miri Airport, which is almost 30 kilometers apart. But to weather forecasters, the information delivered is a general weather pattern in Miri.
Secondly, in terms of economy, Sarawak is heavily dependent on agriculture for revenue. With the recent concerns towards the climate change and natural disaster, we believe that WWS could play an important role in logging the information on localized weather pattern changes to further investigate and mitigate the negative impacts of climate disaster towards agricultural activities across the state.
Lastly, on social grounds, Sarawak government have been pushing the notion of smart city developments in Kuching and Miri. However, issues such as technology taboo and also education gaps between rural and urban communities have hindered smart city development across the state. Therefore, we aim to develop WWS as a stepping stone to bridge the social gap and allow rural communities to embrace smart technology as a positive impact in their lives. With introduction set, let's proceed to the development of the WWS.
The WWS consists of a Wemos D1 Mini ESP8266 development board, which is powered by a laptop and is connected to a BME280 humidity sensor. The BME280 sensor provides precise measurements of the environment temperature, barometric pressure, humidity, and altitude, and this display the measurements into the Blink and ThinkSpeak platform.
From my past experience using Arduino Uno paired with an ESP8266 Wi-Fi serial transceiver module, I felt that not only does the module produce a lot of heat, the wire routing and form factor of the Uno with the transceiver module just does not make the project practical for real-world applications as compared to a Wemos. The great thing about the Wemos is that it has the ESP8266 module embedded into the microcontroller, therefore reducing the hassle of wire routing. It is also small and concise for real-world application. Additionally, ESP8266 on Wemos comes with a deep sleep function. The deep sleep function allows the Wemos to conserve power by staying inactive and only logging data over a specific time period, like say once every 30 minutes. This is important to conserve the Wemos' power consumption.
Well, Blink is a platform that allows you to quickly build interfaces for controlling and monitoring your hardware project from your iOS and Android devices. After downloading the Blink app, you can create a project dashboard and arrange buttons, sliders, graph, and other widgets onto the screen. Blink can be connected to the Wemos by using an authorization token. An authorization token is a unique identifier which is needed to connect your hardware to your smartphone.
ThinkSpeak is an IoT analytics platform service that allows you to aggregate, visualize, and analyze live data streams. Once you send data to ThinkSpeak from your devices, you can create instant visualizations of live data without having to write any code. Using an API key, an application programming interface key is a unique identifier used to authenticate a user developer or calling program to an API. In separate channels, we've created a field for each reading, temperature, pressure, and humidity.
So now, we will demonstrate how we set up the WWS. Firstly, we have here a breadboard where the Wemos is connected to the BME280 as such.
As the BME280 is an I2C sensor, it has connectivity ports for clock line and data called SCL and SDA respectively. According to Wemos protocols, SCL and SDA are connected to the D1 and D2 pins of the Wemos D1 Mini Pro.
So, how do we set up this software? Well, first for Blink, there are multiple libraries that we are using. So, first for ESP8266 Wi-Fi. Well, ESP8266 Wi-Fi is a library to provide functionality for the ESP8266 to connect to the internet. Secondly, for Blink, Blink Simple 8266 is a library for connecting any hardware, which in our case is Wemos, to the Blink cloud. Thirdly, SEED BME280. It is a library that used to read the humidity, pressure, and temperature using the barometer sensor. Fourthly, Wire.h is a library that allows you to communicate with I2C or TWI devices, which in our case is barometric sensor, BME280. Next, moving on to the SSID, which is Service Set Identifier and password of your Wi-Fi. It will need to be inputted in order to connect to the internet, as seen over here. After connecting to the internet, this device will be connecting to your Blink mobile application using this device-specific authentication token. Moving on, BME280 is prompted to obtain the temperature, pressure, altitude, and humidity using this specific function, namely BME280 get temperature, BME280 get pressure, BME280 calculate altitude, as well as BME280 get humidity. After obtaining this information, it will be transferred to your devices using the virtual pin specified for each parameter, as seen over here for temperature, over here for pressure, over here for altitude, and lastly, Blink virtual right over here for humidity.
Alright, so libraries used in the code were selected carefully. Let's go through each of the libraries used and why we chose them. Firstly, the BME 280 mod 1022 library was used to register the BME 280's chip ID and to register its I2C address accordingly. Several other declarations were also provided in the library. Next, we used the wire library. This was used to communicate with the I2C devices. On the Arduino boards, the SDA data line and the SCL clock line are on the pin headers close to the AREF pin. Finally, we used the ESP8266 library, which was used for creating the code that runs on the 8266. The Wi-Fi library is then used on the Arduino to send, receive data with clients. During our efforts to simultaneously run Blink and ThinkSpeak together, we found out that this could not be done. As a result, we worked separately on creating codes for each of the interface. By merging the files, we ran into many errors that could not be debugged. In our code to integrate the obtained readings with the ThinkSpeak account, we first had to copy the API key given and paste it into the code as seen in line 16. In order to make sure the connectivity is secure, the SSID of the user's Wi-Fi and password is filled in the code as well, as seen in line 12 to 13. Now let's look at the codes responsible for measuring the fields. Firstly, the measured fields had its type declared in order for the compiler to read the value. This was done in line 35, and all three fields were designated to a float type data variable. Following up to that, we have each of the fields be designated to its BME280 sensor pointer value, which can be seen from line 39 to 41. Lines 45 to 47 signals the BME to measure the data and stores it into the IDE, while lines 49 to 51 inputs the temperature into the serial monitor for reading. Next, we have lines 53 to 55 that inputs the humidity reading into the serial monitor, and lastly, we have lines 57 to 59 that inputs the pressure reading into the serial monitor. So here I am uploading the code to the Wemos. So the Wemos is connected to the network now.
Here's the result on Blink, which I'm viewing from my side.
And here's the result on ThinkSpeak.
So during the production, we encountered an issue where the readings from BME 280 were inaccurate. We deduced 3 suspected causes for this issue.
Number 1, library issues. As mentioned previously, both Blink and ThinkSpeak codes operate on different BME 280 libraries. We suspected that those libraries might have caused the BME 280 issues as the libraries might not be compatible to the sensors.
Number 2, BME 280 sensor issues. We looked into the BME 280 from 2 perspectives. Firstly, we considered the fact that the connecting pin could be loosened when connected to the BME 280. Secondly, we fear that the BME 280 sensor we got was faulty from the beginning, thus lead to the strange result obtained.
Number 3, Wemos issue. Throughout the production phase, we encountered some stack error that caused the Wemos to constantly disconnect and reconnect to its designated network. So we tackled the issue in the following manner.
Number 1, for potential library issues, we tested some different libraries such as PharmaKeith and Adafruit, which were used by other developers for BME 280. All in all, we tested 4 libraries and results still remain the same.
Number 2, for the BME 280 sensor issues, we soldered the connecting pins to the BME 280 to secure its connection, yet the same issue persists.
For potential Wemos issues, we ran the stack trace errors on a stack debugger, and we found that it was a software watchdog timer issue. We traced the error and did the necessary amendments to the code accordingly, yet the issue still remains unresolved. Therefore, we conclude that the issue behind this problem has to be the faulty BME 280 sensor. All in all, we spent approximately 70 ringgit altogether, including expenses to some of the components we purchased but never used. More on that later. However, primarily on this project, we spent around 45 ringgit altogether. The Wemos and BME 280 sensor, which in of itself cost around 30 ringgit, were bought online, and the remaining components were either borrowed or loaned from friends. And that concludes our demo. So throughout this project development phase, the MCO was implemented by our government, and we came across some significant difficulties during production.
Firstly, this project was initially intended to be a solar-powered WWS. However, due to MCO, the solar PV cell shipping was interrupted, and we are still currently awaiting the shipment to arrive. Without the solar PV cell, we are unable to demonstrate the Wemos self-sustained solar charging system. The solar charging system was supposed to incorporate the power from the PV cell through the Schottky diode into the TP4056 IC protected battery charger, which will then charge the 4000 mAh battery, which would be used to power the Wemos, which is why our WWS is powered by a laptop.
Secondly, we had intended to 3D print an enclosure to house the circuit and produce a full prototype. However, our 3D printer, AC/DC rectifier, became faulty during the later stages of production, and MCL disruption made it difficult to gain access to campus freely to acquire the tools to repair it. The fault in question has yet to be determined. Finally, as you know, social distancing is priority during all stages of MCO, and our work was conducted virtually. So I am currently based in Kuching now. Yick and Kelly are based near Miri Airport, and Harry is based near Kadin, Malaysia. But we put through with what we have, and with that, we've come to the end of this presentation. Once again, we would like to say thank you for your participation in this presentation. Stay healthy and stay safe.